Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Eddie Hearn looks like he's trying to appeal the WBC's decision ordering Dillian Whyte versus Luis King Kong Ortiz. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Well, looky here. Now, Eddie Hearn did an interview with Sky Sports. This is what he said. We're going to appeal that. And they're referring to the WBC's their decision to order a fight between high-ranking contender Dillian Whyte and Luis King Kong Ortiz. We're going to appeal that. WBC President Mauricio Suleiman said he would talk about it this week and maybe post a resolution. So they don't like this. And then you also had Dillian Whyte, who spoke recently about this, and he says, I've had the sanctioning fights. I've done everything they asked me to do. He said to Sky Sports, my information was I was meant to be next in line, meaning he was under the impression that he was Deontay Wilder's mandatory as of right now. Listen, this to me is not a good look for Team Whyte, Eddie Hearn, Matra, whatever. Here's why. For starters, Dillian Whyte has showed a concerted effort and energy to fight certain people. Like he said he would fight Deontay Wilder. He called Deontay Wilder names. He also recently said, and this is the problem I'm telling you guys with this social media age, this is the part that creates some issue, is because all this stuff is documented so people can go back. If you don't believe me, just go back. I implore everybody to do their research. He's called out, Dillian Whyte has called out and called for fights with Deontay Wilder, obviously a title fight. I mean, what fighter comes into this game not wanting to be a champion? So that makes sense. Okay, you want to fight, right? Even though the world wants to see Joshua versus Wilder, right? No biggie. But you've also stated that you would fight Kubrat Pulev, and you also stated you would fight Alexander Povetkin. However, Povetkin is a mandatory for Joshua, so him and his team have both stated that, hey, we're not trying to fight Dillian Whyte. What's the point? What's the point of fighting him? We got bigger fish to fry. We want that Joshua title fight. He has a title, all the belts except for the WBC, and we feel we can beat him. It's a bigger money fight. Why should we fight against Dillian Whyte? Now, WBC, I did a video about it, recently ordered a fight between Dillian Whyte versus Luis King Kong Ortiz, right? And now you have Eddie Hearn, who's publicly declaring that he's petitioning the WBC's decision. So to me, now it looks like you don't want to fight Luis Ortiz, because why would you be down to fight Wilder, Kubrat Pulev, and Alexander Povetkin, but then now when another great fight is ordered by the WBC to get you in line, you're saying I don't want to fight it. So now it looks like you don't want to fight Luis Ortiz specifically, right? You guys can interpret it how you want, but from my perspective, because, okay, the title shot with Wilder makes sense. Of course, like I just said, every fighter should aspire to be a champion. No problem. But Dillian Whyte has stated that he was open, if he couldn't get Wilder, to fight Alexander Povetkin, right? This is provable because you even have a response from Team Povetkin, and they said, what's the point? So if you were down to not get the title fight with Wilder, but instead fight a guy like Povetkin, then why would you not be down to fight little old Luis King Kong Ortiz, who got knocked out in his last fight, and he's coming off a loss? Both guys have power. Both guys have failed drug tests, so you can't say, oh, I'm not fucking with Luis Ortiz because he may be doping or something. Because Povetkin, if that's the case, Povetkin has failed drug tests. You know what I mean? 2 in the year of 2016. So from the way I see it, I can't really think of any other reason not to make this fight. On top of everything else, it's a very good fight. King Kong Ortiz versus Dillian Whyte, that's still a meaningful fight. even though, as I mentioned, Luis Ortiz is coming off a loss. He lost to a champion. There's no shame. These guys are both looking to get back in the picture of a title shot or big money fights. You know what I mean? And they both came up short. One guy fought AJ before he was a champion. That was Dillian Whyte. He hurt him, but in the end he was stopped. And that's Dillian Whyte, right? And then the other guy fought Deontay Wilder. He hurt him, but in the end he was stopped by the champion. So I don't understand why Eddie Hearn, it's not a good look for Eddie Hearn. Why would you petition this? Here's another example. And I've talked to Team Porter on this issue specifically. Sean Porter was under the impression that fighting Andre Berto and then fighting Adrian Granados, he was the next in line for Keith Thurman. That's what they believed. Now, and I have firsthand knowledge of that because I've talked to him, right? So he was doing these like eliminators and WBC silver, WBC interim matches under the impression, thinking he's going to get Keith Thurman. However, if you look at the current WBC rankings, they have Danny Garcia, after beating Brandon Rios, ranked higher than Sean Porter, and he's number 2. So he's in a similar situation where even though he thought he was the mandatory and he was absolutely the next in line, right? He wasn't. It wasn't like it didn't work exactly. And it's probably, I don't know how rankings work. I don't work for the WBC. I don't know how they pull the trigger and make all the decisions. But I will say this: Danny Garcia was the WBC champion and he fought Keith Thurman. So now he's back active. Maybe that trumps everything that Sean Porter did since he's never been a champion with the WBC. You know what I mean? I don't know. This is just that part of it's speculation. But nonetheless, Sean Porter is down to fight Danny Garcia to get a shot at Keith Thurman again. He's like, okay, I'll be number 2, you be number 1, and let's fight each other, Garcia versus Porter, and then now the winner can get Keith Thurman. So if Dillian Whyte and Team Whyte really want the Wilder fight, why not just go through a guy that Wilder already beat, which is a great fight, right? Luis King Kong Ortiz is still a great fighter, you know what I mean, even though he lost. And like I said, he got knocked out, but he didn't get knocked out like Spilka, eyes closed, and he's like dead to the world. I mean, he was just hurt and he was knocked out. You know what I mean? Fair and square knockout. But there's a difference between getting knocked out like that. So, I mean, why would there be no interest in that type of fight? That's a meaningful fight that'll get you to the next level and a step closer. Again, I don't know how the WBC or any of the rankings work. Errol Spence has Carlos Ocampo as his next mandatory with the IBF, and Sean Porter's nowhere in the top 20 with the IBF. So again, I don't know how the rankings work, but I do know what I see, and I do know what I've heard and what's been publicized. And WBC called for Luis Ortiz, Dillian Whyte. Good fight. Make the fight. Let's see it. You know what I mean? Especially if he wants a shot at Deontay Wilder. That's a good fight in prep. That's a good fight that'll help prepare you also. So it's not like just, oh, I want to see Dillian Whyte in a tough fight. I want to see, as I'm a fan, so I want to see great fights. But also, that's a fight that's going to help you prepare you for your title shot. Because if you can't get past Luis Ortiz, then, you know what I mean, the public's buy-in is going to be that you can't get past Deontay Wilder either. But if you emphatically beat Luis Ortiz, you know what I mean, then people will be like, okay, wow, Dillian Whyte really is ready for a title shot. He's learned a lot from the AJ loss. So to me, it's kind of a bad look that they're petitioning and trying to appeal the WBC's decision to fight Luis Ortiz instead of just facing him. You know what I mean? Because they've already expressed interest in facing other guys, including guys not named Wilder, like Alexander Povetkin. So that was probably the biggest mistake. The moment you open your mouth and say you're down to fight Povetkin, who's a non-champion, right? And then the WBC orders this, and now you're saying, oh, hey, wait, I thought I was the number 1 mandatory. This is BS. This is corruption. So to me, it makes it seem like you don't want to fight against King Kong Ortiz specifically. Maybe you feel, or his team feels, it's high risk, low reward or something. Maybe you feel you'll get more money fighting Wilder or Povetkin, which is probably true. But nonetheless, Whyte versus Ortiz is a very good fight, and it's a meaningful fight. So they got some choices to do. Let me know how you break this down and what your take is. But I don't understand why they're appealing it. just fight Luis Ortiz. This is a great fight. I would support it. I would promote it. You can even put it on the card of Joshua Wilder. That's my recommendation. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.